What's that you've been reading?
The Andanuth. I found it in that house yesterday.
Good?
Like nothing I ever read.
It's a road. There's a girl on it.
A girl? What's she doing?
Just standing there, talking to herself.
She's a guard.
I don't think so. Just a kid wearing a dress.
It's a trap. She's bait.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
Maybe. Maybe not. We gotta check it out.
Sam, what are you doing? Sam. Go with him.
Are you the mailman?
What?
Are you the mailman?
No. No, I'm not.
I'm waiting for the mailman.
Yeah? Why's that?
My dad is waiting for a package. He ordered some books. Some game books. I'm going to meet the mailman when he comes. We can play games again.
Where is your dad?
He's over there. He doesn't talk much anymore. I think he'll pick up when his books get here.
You should just come with us. It's not safe out here alone.
What's your name?
Emmy.
My friend's right, Emmy. It's not safe. And the mail hasn't run in a... Well, the mail isn't running anymore.
I shouldn't be talking to strangers.
We gotta go. Now.
Where'd she go? Emmy!
Jukes, we have to find her.
Emmy!
Let her go. She's gone. Now, she was never even there.
Is that Emmy's dad?
It's the mailman.
It's Emmy's game books.
You know the rules. Take only what you need. Sam. Sam!
Emmy?
Story time. There's a picture you want to see of my brother, co-founder of Troll Lord Games, Davis, who his face is all banged up and whatnot. That comes from 2004, 2005. He and Mark Sandy were on the road hitting conventions every 2 weeks or so. They were at a convention, I believe, in Memphis, Tennessee, Mid-South Con, I think is what it's called. So they're at a hotel. They're probably imbibing a little bit. I know they are. They're out in the parking lot. Smoke break, be my guess. I wasn't there. I'm getting this story secondhand. So anyway, so there's a fence, like a 12-foot high fence with 4 strands of barbed wire, kind of in that Y shape that you see, you know, the barbed wire running up the length of it. And Davis thought that he needed to get to the gas station on the other side of that, and instead of going around, he would go over. So he goes up the fence and gets tangled into the barbed wire. He's all messed up in the barbed wire. He crawls over the barbed wire. It does his leg a really good number as he falls forward into the enclosure with his foot and boot hung up in the barbed wire. He slams and hits his face into the fence and then slides down on the inside of the enclosure slowly as the barbed wire gives way or his pants tear or whatever, and he smashes into the ground and busts up his face. That Monday morning when they got back Sunday, that Monday morning he came walking into the office and I saw his face was all mangled. He's limping real bad. His hips hurt. His ankle's all wrapped up. It's bleeding still just a little bit. Had blood on the bandage, probably blood from the evening before. But I immediately did the appropriate thing and snapped a picture of it. So that's the story of Davis's torn up face, 2003, 2004. Story time. There's a picture you want to see of my brother, co-founder of Troll Lord Games, Davis.
Troll Lord Games, join the fray. Troll Lord Games, join. Troll Lord Games, join the fray.
What up, my peoples? Good morning. Third day of a 24-hour fasting. I'm doing it. Ain't that right, Davis?
Yeah.
So, Yeah,
Hey,
I've done it 3 days in a row. I didn't think I could do it. I just tried it and it works. I did another day. Now I'm doing another day. Yeah, so I eat once a day basically. So it's been pretty
the
wild.
24-hour fasting works really, really well. For me, it
And
does.
lots of water. I bought me a new shiny bottle. My wife got it for me. It's got measuring stuff on it so you can see.
Yeah,
really
see, I
good.
don't do the water thing that much, except when I go on walks in the afternoon.
Oh my God, man! I've been drinking a ton.
I have taken. This is what I do in the afternoon now, though. No, maybe not Thursday afternoon. Well, I'll do it early in the day. I take my chainsaw and I head out into the woods, and I spend 2 hours cutting down trees, carrying around a 40-pound chainsaw with me the whole time.
I want to welcome everybody in this morning. We're shooting the shit. Jeremy will be here in a little bit. He just woke up. So we have a giveaway going on for some $10 codes from the store. They are kind of funky right now. So when you ask Scott for one, he may tell you that he'll get back with you because I'm having some issues in the store, but I still want to do giveaways today. So just mind that. I got to get there and look at that later. What else did I have to say? I don't know. I think that's it. We're going to talk about some game design today and world building and shoot the shit with you guys and have some delicious cold water with us. What?
I mean, Thomas, I do not know yet if I will be at GaryCon.
Yeah, and that's something I talked to. I didn't know about I saw y'all talking about Brown Street, but I didn't know what was going on. And now he told me last night. So we just need to know long enough so I can figure out what to do about your game. That's all. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah, I've sort of got it figured out, but I mean the timing is just.
It's always like that. It sucks. It's so bad.
I don't. Last March, what was last year was the first time we went to GaryCon in 4 years, and all hell broke loose that Friday night, if you recall.
I remember.
Yes. So Sunday, I had to race back to St. Louis on Sunday to catch a flight, and then this year, I thought March was completely open. It was free for me. There was nothing going on. Everything was fine. And then my renter decides I'm up and leaving, and I'm like, cool. Dang, I have to rent that house.
Yeah, it's an issue. It's for sure, and it sucks too because when you're trying to plan around these cons, man, because they're kind of static. They're not malleable. They're not flexible.
Yeah,
and that's like right now. I've got like a ton of work I'm supposed to be doing outside of the con stuff, but GaryCon is upon me, right? We've got a lot to do before we go there. I'm trying to get t-shirts ordered. I'm trying to get trophies made. I'm trying to get schedules made for floor staff. I'm trying to get schedules made for the judges for the tournament. There is so much shit that I have to do it now. I can't wait off. I can't put it to the bottom of the list, right? And my list, this is my list for today. Look at this. Look how long this is. It's absolutely ridiculous, the stuff I got to do on there. It's not,
I got one. No.
But then as soon as GaryCon's over, it's like, and then you got a list twice as long. Yeah, GaryCon is upon us.
Which I'm promptly putting in a folder and putting it off till tomorrow.
That's the spirit. What's up, Matt? Good to see you. Good to see you guys over in Facebook and YouTube. Awesome. Mary got Gaxums, everyone. Oh, Savo. Let me switch over here. I need to do something. I got to fix the command real quick on this bot.
Okay, so hey, we're talking about world building.
Mm-hmm.
So Dune, I watched Dune 1. I rewatched Dune 2.
I did too. I watched it too, and I thought I was going to go watch it Sunday night. And then I thought it was going to be Monday night. And then my wife got horribly sick last night. As soon as I got off stream, she was in there throwing up. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to see Dune. Great. She got mad at me for that. That was just a comment. It wasn't really meant to be anything. But, I'm dying to see it. Absolutely. Oh, I'm also signed up. I've been playing in the beta for the Dune video game. It's based off the Conan engine, Exiles. Oh, I'm loving it. It's going to be cool.
Oh, good. They just reskin it and throw it.
Kind of, yeah. But we're different, though, because you're out in the damn desert. They've got new stuff, because, like, you've got, like, these, we've got thopters, and shit like that. They got these motorcycle things or a hover bike. It's some cool shit. But it's different. Yeah. Anyway, let me find this command here real quick. I got to find it.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I mean, I didn't even realize there was a Dune game. Sort of.
Well, it's a beta. It's not out released yet, but if you've played Conan Exiles, which is one of my favorite games, because you start off completely naked in the desert and you have to like take leaves and make clothes. It's fantastic, and then you build yourself all the way up to where you've got like meteorite metal and you've got like massive pieces of armor and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Does it really have anything to do with Conan?
Oh yeah, they got sorcery in there and everything. It's awesome. I love it.
Sorcery, that defines Conan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't have it forever, and then they put it in there. It's part of the whole thing. Come on, leave me alone. I like it. It's got really good
Ballet
building.
in there?
So
Did
what?
you run into Ballet or
No,
Valerian?
I don't. I don't know. You can find Conan in a tavern in the middle of a city out in the desert. He's sitting there. He was just sitting there drinking. He's all pissed off, and you walk up and sit down next to him, and stuff.
Is he wearing leaves for armor?
No, he's got his armor because the story is you get hung up on crosses or whatever to be like crucified out in the desert that you die. He shows up and saves you because you've been exiled. So there's this area called the Exiled Lands, and the ideal is that you escape the Exiled Lands, but I never did. I always just I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
let me find. I haven't
played it. Anyway, so Dune
Yeah.
is a good example of Dune 3 Beyond Thunderdome.
Beyond Thunderdome.
Beyond the Empire, Beyond Arrakis. So Dune is a good example of a really, really, really good world building. I thought. I mean, it's almost the Dune book, Dune, Children of Dune, and Dune Messiah thing are probably really, 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 really good examples of some very good world building with very few loopholes in it. I mean, like anything, there's loopholes, or things don't make sense. But that's a good example of world building. I mean, extraordinary world building.
You're absolutely right because it's very deceiving too, as we all know. It looks like a big ball of desert with spice, but it turns out they've got all kinds of terraforming going on and everything. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, and it's got cultures. It's another thing. It's got
That's right,
cultures,
it does.
different styles of dress, and kingdoms and her houses or whatever, like interacting with one another. And in the setting, you have all these different factions that are working in different directions for different goals and stuff like that. So it creates like this massive world to work in with various nodes of interest from which to, begin your explorations, not necessarily of the world in particular, but of the cultures and stuff like that. So, which is part of like world building, is creating an interesting environment, unique environment to work in. Anyway,
let me catch up on this.
Dune was like, it was really exciting to watch that. And another one. Now, here's a show. Now, I just watched the first 2 episodes. Hulu's Shogun. Right now, I know it's not world building.
Oh, I started it last night, the first episode.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
Okay,
about it.
I know that it's not world building per se because it's all based on Japanese culture and
history, sort of loosely.
Yeah, right. But what Shogun does extraordinarily well, as far as I know so far, and I'm not like a Japanese medievalist or anything like that. I don't know. But I know that I can't remember the actor's name. He wanted to make sure as accurate as possible and portray Japanese medieval culture as well as possible, or as closely as possible. So, looking at it, it's really extraordinary. So, okay, yeah. It's a completely different. All the intricacies are there. So there's another good example of how to create a setting that is both. For those of you who are not Japanese or Japanese medievalists and stuff like that, that would be sort of unique. You just get to see like a different culture, portrayed very, very well
in a specific time period.
In a specific time period that's like interesting and different, right?
Yeah,
and all the details are there.
I'll tell you that first episode they do such a good. And I haven't watched the original Shogun in many years, but I do love it. I've got it on DVD here right here somewhere. I loved it that much. I went and found it and bought it. But they do, regardless if it's the upgraded version or the original version, the story is still the same. They do a very good job right off the bat of letting you know what the setting is like. You've got the guy who insults the leader of that village. So he he pisses on him, right? And then some dude smarts off, and they just cut his damn head off like nothing. I mean, like, bam! There's no decision making or nothing, and then you're like, oh shit, where am I? You know,
Yeah,
it's like, whoa.
when I read, I do recall when I read the book. It was
Oh, the book's
who
good.
was it? Who wrote the book? I can't remember his name right now.
Clavell, is it Richard Clavell? Oh no, it's John
No.
Clavell. It's Clavell, but I can't remember the first name. Richard Chamberlain was the guy in the movie, I think, right?
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember who wrote the book. He wrote
it's Clavell,
Centennial and a few other books.
James Clavell, I think. That's it.
Yeah. But anyway, I remember when I first read that in the book, I was like, wow, this is shocking, you know, and that kept me propelled forward throughout the whole story, was that initial set of scenes to establish.
Yeah, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, this is something different. You're not used to this. Get prepared for what's coming your way.
No. Now, if I had been watching it probably from Japan, well, I don't know. Modern kids nowadays in Japan would probably be shocked too, maybe, or even entertained. But back in the 70s or 80s is when that movie came out. He wrote it in the late 70s. They wouldn't have been shocked at all. They'd have been like, "Oh, history." You know what I mean? But,
right.
Man,
it's just what I like about it is so immaculately conceived. Everything is so immaculately conceived.
Yes, very well thought out. Very well thought out.
And the fact that what's his name demanded, it's like, we're not going to do this movie unless Japanese actors actually are acting the role of the Japan, you know, because
right, no bullshit.
They had an American actor, no, you know, whatever. Anyway,
yeah, right. No, they hit straight up dudes, because I was watching too, because I was like, let's see how close they do the mark this time, and they did good, you know. Couple comments and stuff from everybody. Let's see. I'm going to jump down here for just a minute and get this back, and then I'll be back again. Let's see. Savo Klesling from over in YouTube says, did anyone read Taipan, his book about British traders in Hong Kong? I have not read that.
Yes.
Now, that would be fun.
Yes.
I'd like to read
it, I went through a period. I really liked reading James Clavell's thing. Centennial was another good one.
Oh, that's so good. I have that on DVD as well.
Yeah,
so good.
Like I went through this year where I just read everything I could by him because it was so immersive. I mean, he would take you. He had the capacity to take you into these worlds. How well they portray it, I don't really know. You know, the accuracy of it all. But I'm guessing it's fairly accurate. I mean, accurate enough.
Accurate enough. I mean, without time machines, we don't really know. Let's face it.
Yeah,
right?
that, and I mean, he can't have spent his whole life just studying one thing. And anyway, but he also had a host of experts who would advise him on these things too when he was writing, as I understand it, a host of experts and historians, archaeologists, and other people that would help him to make sure things were done.
Oh yeah, for sure. Wouldn't that be cool if you had a gig like that? You know?
Oh yeah,
neat.
That would be
neat. Let's see. Got a couple comments here, and then a question that I've kind of saved a little bit because we're on the whole thing about the samurai and everything. MJ Cook says the samurai historically weren't good guys. The way the medieval knights were portrayed. Absolutely not. They were peace enforcers, I guess, or just enforcers. I mean, they you know what I mean? Yeah, they were knights, but they weren't like, they didn't have a code. Well, I mean, they had a code, but it wasn't like medieval knights. You know what I mean? You know.
No,
they didn't like put their cape down on the ground to let a lady walk across in the mud, that kind of shit. You know?
Right. There's a Bushido code, I suppose, you know, they would follow, but I think that in a lot of instances, the samurai were basically there to enforce the peace, or that's what it turned into.
Yeah.
But there's also the constant fighting. I mean, during that period in Japanese history, I mean, it was constant warfare. I mean, it's literally, and man, I follow this guy, this historian from China, and he talks about world politics and stuff like that. So I enjoy watching his videos and stuff. It's also, he's in Singapore, but he's Chinese, and he talks about Asian history, history of warfare and stuff like that a lot. And I mean, he has a PhD and blah blah blah. He's well credentialed. And he made a comment one time. He goes, I won't go into it. Anyway, he said something about Asia, and when they go to war, they really, really, really mean it. So he goes, you never.
Oh yeah, they go whole hog in, don't they? Good morning, Jeremy. Jeremy's joined us from the Pillow Land. All right. Let's see. Dan Simmons is another author like that is good for historical fiction. Pretty entertaining. I'll have to check that. I wrote the name down, Savage, because I'm all into. I love historical fiction, so sure I'll check it out. That sounds awesome. I do have a question from MJ Cook that I was hoping to hold off until Jeremy got on here, so that Jeremy and Davis could both answer it. And I'm curious to watch these two debate this out, which they may not debate it. I don't know. MJ Cook asks, in your opinion,
good or bad? Yeah.
what elements or themes need to be present for a pre-written adventure to be great? Not good, but great. They've both written adventures. I haven't yet, so I've just written other stuff. So I'll let them answer, and I'll learn.
I don't know.
Oh, Jeremy has no sound. Excellent. So Jeremy's the mime today.
Yeah, I don't. I think one of the, for me, right, there has to be options. The players and the players' characters have to be able to choose various paths to any goal, if there is a goal.
Yeah.
Paths and options, and whether it's a town adventure or a dungeon adventure. So a dungeon adventure, say, for example, would have various routes to get to the end goal. Say the treasure room. If you have a treasure room, various ways to get to the treasure room. And any town adventures, a similar thing. To get to the goal, there have to be various routes to that goal. From my perspective, and the reason I say that, and maybe even it should be goalless. The characters should be able to establish their own goal. I don't know. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, because I like them open-ended, sandboxy. Because most of the players never pay any attention to what's going on anyway. They just do what they want to do. So I see it sort of needs like a sandboxy type of approach, because, God knows what the players are going to decide to do. It doesn't really matter what you say. I mean, how many times have you designed a dungeon and then they get one or two rooms in and they're like, we're out, we're going on. It's like, what? Quit. No, it collapses. You can't leave.
my players are generally fairly polite. They're like, oh, he put a lot of work into this, even though we don't want to do it. We're going to keep doing it. And I can immediately tell when that's the case. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I think applicability is extremely, extremely, extremely important. The ability to be able to take that adventure and take either the whole thing or chunks of it and drop it in wherever.
Yeah.
The easier that is, the more valuable it is, because to be honest, very, very, very rarely is someone going to take your adventure off the shelf and run it cover to cover. That never happens.
Yeah.
What they're going to do is they're going to cannibalize it. They're going to take the dungeons. They're going to take the maps. They're going to take part of a town you made, whatever. And then they're going to remix it, try and incorporate it into their world, because they've already got a pre-existing setting. And that's why, my go-to adventure for this is Ravenloft. You could be doing anything. And all of a sudden, this dude strolls into town with a bag of gold, and he's like, "Hey, there's a guy in the next village over who wants the, whatever." And then all of a sudden, you're whisked away into this pocket dimension, and the whole adventure takes place there, and you don't even know it.
I think that's a really good point. I don't think genericized is the right idea. Rather,
check Discord, Laramie.
Its the ability of the adventure to be placed anywhere or manipulated such that it can be useful in different settings and stuff like that.
Right.
And Ravenloft is actually a really good example where you are whisked away to that separate dimension.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that with every adventure. It's why I like the Village of Hamlet so much.
That's another great one.
Yeah, just as a standalone, you don't include Temple of Elemental Evil, behind it. You just do Hamlet on its own, and it's still a go-to standard gold star adventure because you can go so many directions from the Village of Hamlet.
Well, another thing, there's a lot of reasons why way fewer people played Temple of Elemental Evil than Village of Hamlet. I'm not going to get into all that.
Yeah.
But for the people who had access to Temple of Elemental Evil, not a lot of them played it. That I've spoken to.
I didn't. We played Hamlet, and then I had it, and I've still got it, and I've ran it a few times, but never. I don't think I've ever ran it with Hamlet, to be honest with you, ever.
Well, right, because
Ever.
well, it's got there's so much story associated with the Temple of Elemental Evil. You would have to make that okay. You're like, okay, we're doing a Temple of Elemental Evil campaign. This is the focus of our game, or or you have it be a recurring location, like that's your mega dungeon, where we go to Hamlet every once in a while, or to Nulb, and every once in a while we return to the temple. But it's got such a huge, important story behind it that it's kind of that you can't divest it from, right? Like you can't. The whole temple is built around the story that's ingrained into it, so you can't strip it away from that and just drop the temple into your world without doing a ton of work,
Right?
And so, and I'm sure there's 15 people in the comments are gonna be like, "I did that." It's like, well,
no,
there's an exception to everybody rule.
Yeah, no, and you can if you're willing to put in the work. You know, you can do it and have fun doing it. But I think that to help propel a module forward to utility is to create it such that it is easily dropped into without a metric ton of work.
You wanna lower that barrier to entry as much as possible. That's why a lot of people love Against the Cult of the Reptile God. Because that's just a town in a swamp. You can put that anywhere.
Simple. Right.
It's very simple.
It's definitely not setting dependent for sure.
No,
not at all. It's good though. Great little fun jump there, you know. So,
and I mean, like, this is a bit of a silly example, but White Plume Mountain.
Yeah, I love it.
There's reference to external stuff going on, but like you could rewrite whatever the reason is they're going there.
Oh,
you
yeah, I do it all the
time.
time.
Very easily. Yeah. And you just have that. Pick a volcano in your setting.
It's
White
just
Plume Mountain is there, and it's so easy to do.
I think Steading of the Hill Giant Chiefs the same way.
Another great one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You'll notice.
I've put that in Greyhawk and Forgotten Realms and Aired. So
yeah.
You'll notice all of the adventures we're naming are like 50 years old.
Yeah. That says a lot, doesn't it?
It says a lot about us, but it
Boy, Jeremy's an old man in a young man's body. We're convinced that he's with aliens or something.
What I will say is that, and I'm as guilty of it as anyone. I mean, me and Steve are both as guilty of it as anyone else. Is wedding the adventures to storylines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
See, I am so opposed to that. None of the adventures I've written have any except where I'm told this needs to be in the setting. I'll throw in some stuff about, okay, this is whatever, this god is here. It's extremely easy to rip it out and drop it into that your setting's equivalent of that environment.
You like drop adventures. You can drop them anywhere. You don't want them to be embedded.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Now
A1 was about me.
A1 was written. A1, 2, and 3 were basically, now A3 it starts to shift a little bit as you get into.
Which one's A3? I don't remember.
That's not Slag Heap. That's the one after. I just ran it.
Oh no, these are the. Oh, you're talking about I was thinking of the Slave series.
Yeah. Oh no, not the Slave series.
No, the better A series. Kidding? Yeah. Just kidding.
Ooh,
just kidding. I love the other A series.
The A1, A2, and A3 are written such that they can be. Well, at least I tried to design them such that they could be dropped pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
Which is why A1 has those little encounter areas and little dungeons and just a village. That's it. Right. And there's no really like end goal to it. Just explore the Blacktooth Ridge. That's it.
What's that one that takes place in like a volcanic region with a bunch of tar pits and stuff? I converted that, or I updated that for OGL removal, and there's like a fire giant base with like salamanders in it.
I can't remember.
Wait, what?
You wrote
one
that?
Of ours? What adventure is that?
It's a really cool adventure. I don't remember what it is.
I don't think I've ran that. I'm trying to remember what adventure.
Is it in the A series?
I don't know.
No, it's not the A series, man. There's no volcanoes in the Darkenfold or whatever. Not Darkenfold.
It's not a volcano. It's in like it's like a Yellowstone. It's like a Yellowstone National Park kind of thing. There's a lot of. It's like a thermo.
Do you know this? I don't know what adventure he's talking about. I really don't know. That's now.
There's like tar pits and geysers everywhere. It's really cool.
That's
And I know you wrote it because there's mammoths and saber-tooth tigers everywhere.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's not Steve.
No, it's number 3. There, it's Vaku Ijibog.
Oh,
I
I've not ran those. I've got them, but I've not ran them. You're
It's
talking about
buttons
the
you bought your
trinklets?
some time.
They're cool.
Wait a minute.
Those ones are cool.
Are you talking about this?
I've never seen
Yes.
the cover. I don't know.
I've never.
That's a-
This is one of the ones that you signed for me at a con years ago, but it's like water damaged. But I've never
No.
ran it.
Yeah,
Never played
that's
it.
a drop and play. All you need is a swampy area, a little river, and a remote region. That's it.
Yeah, the
That's a
Trinklet
drop.
series. Willie says that's
Yeah.
it. Okay, I've not actually
It's
ever
cool.
done that. I need to run.
Yeah.
I didn't know that shit. That sounds like Inclinade, dude. I'm gonna check that out.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it's
I
like
know it's not.
subarctic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Subarctic.
Yeah.
How fascinating.
It's not. It's like subarctic in the summer. Like,
Oh, okay.
Like there's snow isn't everywhere, but it's cold.
Yeah. Well,
It's
let me
cool.
go through here and give some comments out real quick. People's been commenting. I really want to share some of these guys. Some are really good. So we had a question first off from Amarillo D20 over on YouTube. How good is the Storyteller's Dictionary from Troller Games? Well, I use it. I use it
Pretty good.
and both of them. It's
Yeah, I
wonderful.
use it.
I would recommend it for
Myself
anybody
friendly.
that's doing any kind of game work at all. It's
Oh, you
extremely
can-
handy.
Just off camera there.
Yeah, yeah. I've got mine over there too. I've got mine right here actually. But let's see. Let's see what else. Let me go back down through here. And let's see. I got past Laramie's nonsense.
I meant to get them signed by Jim Ward, but they got really bad water damage, so I need to get new copies.
Yeah.
Which I didn't buy because I didn't want to buy new copies of the book, but now I can just tell Steve to send me some.
Right. That's right. That's right. There you go. Let's see. Thomas Gerzup says, oh, Thomas is on. He says, best adventures have foreshadowing, symbolism, coherent theme, character development, distinct ecology, custom monsters and magic, clear objectives, 3 acts or more, depth of NPCs, meaningful stakes, player agency, and great maps. That's a
I would
lot,
agree.
Thomas.
Yes.
Y'all
I would
agree?
agree.
Okay.
That's
All
a
right.
huge list, Thomas.
That's a huge list. I don't know. He pulled that out.
It's a huge list, and it hits all the major stuff. What was the one about like character arcs? What was that?
Hey, Jeremy, Thomas is the guy I want you to work with on the basic set.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
what's up,
Thomas,
Thomas?
this is Jeremy. Jeremy's working on the basic set, so
I've written
I'll
like
hook y'all
half
up.
of it. So
Let's see. You asked about what did you ask, Jeremy? Character
introduction
arcs.
set.
You said
something about arcs or something.
I don't see that in the list.
Read it again.
Oh God. Okay.
If you could.
Foreshadowing, symbolism,
Yeah.
coherent theme,
Yeah.
character development, distinct.
Character. Okay, that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
character.
So I don't know about that one. All the other ones, 100%. You could like imply suggested character development, but if we're talking about the players, I don't know that there's a meaningful way to enforce that at all.
Yeah.
No, there's not. But this is what I would say for and it would be difficult, not necessary, but I almost always present, not in every game, but fairly regularly, moral quandaries for the players to resolve.
Oh yeah.
And by
I'm sorry.
presenting a moral quandary, what you do, the players and the player characters have to develop in some way because they have to address the moral quandary. Either they address it one way or the other or not at all. In any respect, no matter which option that they choose, they've developed their character in some particular direction.
Mhm.
So you give them something like that to work with or mull over. I think is one of the best ways to encourage character growth without
My-
being overhanded on it.
My favorite version of that, I've done this in a couple games, and it always it completely ruins the game, but I love doing it anyway, because it's so evil. It doesn't ruin the game, but it majorly sidetracks it for either 30 minutes or several sessions, depending on their decision-making skills.
Right.
They're out in the wilderness. They wander by a cave. A troll runs out and attacks them. They kill the troll. They go into the cave, and they realize, oh no, this troll was defending its baby. There's a baby troll in the cave. And then they're like, it's a troll. We don't know how to take care of a troll. We don't want to take care of a troll because like that's different than like a goblin or something. Because like a troll, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
A baby troll, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh my God, what do we do? And almost never do they kill the troll. The baby troll. Usually they'll be
Interesting.
like, is there like a druid grotto, or is there somewhere we could take this thing?
Right.
Because they try to like off it onto somebody else almost immediately.
That's awesome.
And then because the way they're big, right? It'd probably be like the size of like, I don't know, like an 8-year-old. Like it's a big thing that they're lugging around, and they're like, oh my god. And in settings that I've had in the past, trolls turn to stone in the daylight, so they have to be like really careful about going around because they don't want this stupid baby to turn into a rock.
I hadn't thought about that. You know, it touches on Steve's always big about putting animals in these games because he wants the players to totally wreck their plans because they've got to save a dog or a mule or whatever. You know, instead because
use a baby.
Humanity comes out in you, right?
Baby.
Yeah, he uses humanity against you. It's just like what you're doing with the troll.
Yeah.
It's a monster, but it's a
Jeremy,
baby. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Funny you should mention that, Jeremy, because there's a troll in a cage in Zhibok.
Is it really?
Yes,
Really?
you find a troll in the cage in Zhibok, and it's up to you to what to do with it. Now, I don't know if they know it's a baby troll or what. It's not really a baby troll. Trolls are immortal, right? All they have to, when they eat, they grow. When they don't eat, they shrink to a certain
Interesting.
point. Then they just sit there until they can eat again, and then they just grow and grow and grow. And the more they eat, the longer they sleep, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, but they find a troll in a cage, but it's a small troll. And then what do you do with this troll that you found in the cage? What do you do? Because it's in a cage. I mean, you can kill it right away if you want.
Yeah, but then you think, man, it's in a cage. It's not attacking us, you know. And then all that starts to play in your head, you know.
Yeah,
but he's small because he's been starved. That's why he's little.
Yeah, and
he's been eating.
And here's the other thing, though. So you look at it like in nature.
I love this. I'm going to use this Saturday night. I swear to God, I'm going to use this Saturday night.
Your players will be furious with you because it's obvious what you're doing.
Yes,
it's so obvious. And you can be all smug. You're like, well, you killed the troll, and they'll be like, but you had the troll run out of the cave.
They've even got a paladin in the group. Oh, I can see this happening. Yes.
Yeah, because he'll be like, that troll is evil. That baby troll is evil.
They're getting ready to go up.
Troll didn't do anything.
They're finishing A5. So what I'm gonna do, the crazy dude in the tower, Dutro, whatever his name is, the crow guy. I'm gonna have a cage in there with a baby troll in it. That'll be fantastic.
Despite all his rage, he's still.
Well, it'll be small. A baby. They'll think it's a baby troll, right? Maybe they'll take it and start feeding it, and then they'll wake up dead. You know, they'll be eating on one of them or something. That'd be great.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing in nature. So if water buffalo find baby lions or baby cheetahs or anything like that, they will stomp them to death. They do not care. They will. They will literally. I've seen images of them just jumping up and down on these baby little lions, just crushing them, right? And then
remind me never to show that to my granddaughter.
Yeah, adult male lions. You know, when they take over a pride, they're going to go kill all.
They're going to kill all the babies. Yeah.
Yeah, they kill all the babies.
That's true.
And cheetahs will kill other lions if they can, and lions will kill other cheetahs if they can, to include their babies because they're competitors and stuff like that. So then you're like thinking, well, okay, so there's this troll. The troll's only going to do one thing if you let it grow. It's going to eat, and it's going to eat anything. People, cows. It doesn't really matter.
And if it's a baby, you can't just release it into the wild because something else is just going to kill it.
Yeah,
and that's blood on your hands.
Or it's going to grow.
Today's session's about being devious GMs. That's what it's about.
But do you care? You just killed the mom, and you didn't care about that. Why do you care now?
Yeah.
Because it's little.
Let me go back and read some comments. Let me go back.
But it does what it does do, Jeremy. Yeah, exactly. It creates a quandary for the characters.
It drops a bomb on the camp. It ruins the campaign for like 5 sessions. It's great. I love it.
Let me read some of these comments real fast. All right. So also Savage, at Founders and Legends will just be Steve. We've got the head stuff going on, so we can't make it up there. But we'll be there. I fly in Wednesday morning. I think Jeremy's picking me up, and then we'll be there.
I'm picking you up and shit.
Yeah, we'll be there in full force. So it'll be a good time. For Gary Con. So Savage Baron says, I always give the players options to develop, give them organizations for their characters, join goals for the characters, secrets to discover, enough backstory to let them develop their own PCs. Crane, our social media manager, a question I ask my players is, how do you want your character to change over the course of the game? That's a great one. That's good. Gives them some control, or at least some input, right? And they're just not like to the wind or whatever. There's a question for Jeremy from Dan Kingsley. Jeremy, do you give extra XP for their decisions?
Only if generally, yeah. If it's a decision that I think is in line with their character.
Right.
Like if there's like a lawful good paladin who's like, I have sworn a holy crusade against all trolls, he's like, oh,
Right.
we gotta,
Right.
save
I
this
got you.
baby. There, he could do that. That there's room for that in the narrative, and that'd be a great turning point for that character. But
Right.
he's got to sell that moment.
Right.
He's got to make me believe.
I'm the same way. That's what I told Marty plays a paladin. And I started playing with these guys in the 70s, right? So they're assholes at the table.
Right.
They don't want to role play anymore hardly. And I'll just be like, okay, well, they know experience. He goes, what do I got to do? I said, well, you know what you got to do. We've been playing for 40 some years. And then he'll get up and do his thing. But I have to kind of push him, a little bit. I want a performance for something like that, right?
For me, like
Dance for me, monkeys.
Yeah. So for my long campaigns, any decision like that a character makes, that a player makes,
Yeah.
for example, any decision that they make, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. I'm not going to I let them guide their own character. I'm not going to do that at all. But what I will do is no matter what decision they make, it will come back to bite them in the ass eventually, right?
Good. So in a game about decisions, all decisions eventually are bad.
All decisions have repercussions, is how I like to think of it.
So if I'm in Zaya
Mhm.
and I enter a tavern and they say smoking or non,
Are you serious? That's awesome.
that's gonna have
That's like something Larry would say.
That's like some major repercussions.
Major repercussions.
If you choose smoking, yeah, there's going to be some major repercussions.
Jeremy's all serious at the table. There'll be no mocking anything, Grace says, oh God, it's the train question for TTRPGs.
Yeah, it's the trolley problem.
To kill the troll baby or not,
Oh yeah, no, Jeremy, I would come up with a repercussion for that. I would eventually create something for that, and one just popped into my mind. It's like, okay, so you go into a tavern. It's like, okay, smoking or non-smoking. You're like, I'm going to go to the smoking section. So you go to the smoking section. They set you off into the thing. Well, it turns out that the smoking section is full of rapscallions, backstabs.
Dang. Okay. What if I said non?
Okay, that where you get you run into all these law-abiding, rules type people and enforcers. Okay.
I don't think.
So the best idea is
so you're telling me
is go out in the woods and do what you want to do.
So you're telling me that smoking obeys alignment distribution? Like smoking is strictly for the chaotic side of the alignment spectrum?
I would have something in the background like that going on, right?
Yeah.
And I could flip flop it just as easily one way or the other.
Did you know chaotic aligned players are 96% more likely to pick up smoking and nicotine?
All right, so let's see. A few more comments that I just gotta say these. So Mr. Man says Davis doesn't give experience, but he does have a question for you. Davis says, I have a question. Would you allow a player to make a small town into an empire as the player and make the player the king, like a player king, basically?
Can a player establish a kingdom? Yes.
Right, as a king, not as helping a kingdom be formed, but actually become the ruler and all that.
Yeah.
I've only done that once. That was with an evil group, and they basically, became kings because they
starting from a village, starting from a small town.
Yeah.
You would have to
build an empire, basically.
Yeah. Well, so you'd have to be awarded land by another king, because all of that land is claimed, even if nobody lives there. Somebody has on a deed somewhere in a musty library has a claim, and if they find out that you're building there, they're gonna roll up and be like, "Hey."
They're gonna roll up with their posse.
Yeah, they're gonna roll up with 500 horses and be like, "Excuse me, I was using this forest for nothing. You can't use it for something."
Or 500 gnomes.
Yeah, 500 gnomes. They come out of the tree. They're elves. So you'd have to secure the land, and then you'd have to build a keep. You'd have to build some kind of base of operation. Typically, it's a keep.
It would be a hard sell, but yeah, I would definitely allow it.
It would take the biggest resource would be money. You would need so much money.
Yeah, you'd have to do a lot of killing to get to this.
Grace blew my mind. She has a fancy. She was making a joke. She said, But think about this. Think about the first big adventure as king. You would have to battle tax invaders. Think about that, dude. You have to go out in the city, grab people that have been your townsfolk and throw them in jail, force them to pay taxes. What fun that would be. Imagine.
If you're okay, but I wouldn't be playing as a king at that point. I'd be playing as a tax collector.
Well, it's important how big your empire is.
If I'm going out and collecting taxes myself, something is wrong because they're just going to kill me.
She said, honestly, a campaign like that sounds like a lot of fun with the rap group. It could be interesting, that's for sure.
Well, I think we did that one time.
Real life in medieval fantasy. Woo-woo!
Yeah, no, I can't remember the game now.
I'm here for your oats. But you didn't pay your taxes.
Yeah, there was a thing where we're setting up the kingdom. Maybe it was Tomon Lips. I can't remember. And then the taxes actually did come up and said, well, you got to collect taxes, and no one's paying their taxes. And they're like, so they have to hire this whole group of mercenaries to go collect taxes from the peasants. And it gets out of hand. You know, the mercenaries are like, oh, we're going to take the taxes. Plus,
so
we're going to take
I cover all of this in Swords and Chaos.
Look at that.
I talk about building your base of operations. And I discuss the minimum of how many settlements you need to tax and how much you need to tax them to be able to support your empire.
Right.
And the cost of hiring armies and
see, right. I get it. The group I had, the group from the 70s or whatever, they one time played an evil campaign and they took over an area, an island that was in the middle of a big river, not in the ocean or anything. And they built a fortress there. And of course, these guys were like 15th level by the time they did this. And they had Cambion troops and all kinds of nonsense.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then when I started doing like economics on them, God, they got so pissed off. They hated that. They hated it so much. So I kind of played, I had to find a middle line. You know what I mean?
That's when they hire a steward.
You hire it out. A steward.
Yeah. Your steward manages
taken care of, and I take so much from. Yeah, that's may have been what I did. But, I don't remember.
They just find someone who does handle.
But then you have to keep a really fucking close eye on that steward because he's handling all your money and he's in the keep every day while you're out adventuring, and he knows everybody, and you don't know everybody as well as he does. And if he has any kind of beef with you, he can just lock the doors.
And invariably, the people inside your palace are going to turn on you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the game works.
It's usually the steward. Yeah, because he's the highest up.
The comments in chat are just hilarious.
Throne, competitors would be constant. It would be fun. It would actually be fun. I wouldn't even be averse to starting out as like a noble son. You inherit X. Now you have to manage.
That'd be interesting. That would be interesting.
I think Birthright does that in a way. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's the whole. Well, the whole gimmick of Birthright is you start out as like powerful kings and wizards and high priests and whatever, and you have like supreme supernatural powers, and you're like sending out armies and stuff. It starts immediately with the domain game.
Willie says you hire a H&R chopping block to take care of it.
It's so bad.
It's awesome. Ninth level tax collector, Tyler says. Chaotic evil. Yeah, that would be some funny shit, man.
That's a level title for rogue.
That's right. Or you get an Ursel worm. That dragon we have. The IRS worm. Yeah. All it does is sits there and it absorbs your gold. Your gold just disappears. It does nothing.
So this is what in Swords and Chaos, this is kind of what I talk about. To establish a stronghold, the character must have two things: wealth and territory. Most often, territory is won by tearing the bloody crown of a king from his brow and placing it upon your head. Well, his corpse is thrown to the buzzards, but this is not always the case. You can use your imagination for how wealth might be acquired, but I assure you there are many, many ways. Generally, the PC will have to clear out an area of monsters and foes to make it safe. Such a region will need to be at least 5 to 10 miles in radius to support the needs of a stronghold. Within such a domain, 2d4 settlements should be found. These settlements will be very small, with populations no greater than 400 individuals maximum. Such individuals are taxed between 8 and 20 gold pieces per year at the player character's discretion. Taxes are not always paid in gold. Grain, beer, wine, linen, goats, chickens, and cattle are often sent off at the tax collector.
And service.
Yeah, and service.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Strongholds are incredibly.
Make it dwarves and mountains and make it caverns so you can make money by selling gold and more. Yeah, I think Dan said earlier his group, he don't allow them to have bases anymore because they started getting to the point where they were minting coins.
Oh, yeah.
I can see that.
It can get haywire really quick too. And if you think about it, like especially if you get some high level characters in there with all their special abilities and stuff like that, like create food and water. I'm just my entire kingdom doesn't need to freaking work anymore because all my priests are just going to go out and create food.
No,
and
see
water.
that spell has to not exist because
Yeah.
when that was created. Oh, this will be useful for adventurers.
Yes.
Not thinking about the fact that all clerics have access to all spells at all times, and that completely breaks how the world works.
Yeah, no, it does.
There
No,
should be
that's
no
why-
farms anywhere in your fantasy RPG if you have the spell create food and water. It just shouldn't exist.
No,
Shouldn't
and-
exist.
and-
no farms.
No, They wouldn't. They would not. And the whatever established religion exists would have a complete and total stronghold on all functions of society because they would be doling out rations of food and water to everyone every day.
Yeah.
Everyone it
That
would
was
be
a dark
mandatory that
take.
you're no everyone it would be mandatory that everybody be a member of that religion.
It would be natural.
It would be natural, and I bet you that they would make it illegal to grow your own food. I bet you they would.
No
Halt!
competition.
He's growing carrots. Get him.
You'd like
Drag him
that
in.
makes total logical sense. If
Yeah.
you have the ability to create food from nothing,
What
and these other
alignment is
people
this?
don't,
Is this religion?
well, eventually they
Lawful
might say
good.
they're good. They're lawful
Lawful
good.
good.
Yeah.
Because and they also set up like hospitals. Anyone who gets injured for any reason, you go to it for acute. He'll heal, cure,
This is
cure like wounds,
Dystopian
cure-
medieval fantasy.
Yeah.
This is
and
how. What do you think the medieval world was?
No,
cure disease,
I know that, but I'm saying anyway. I get it. I just think it's funny.
See, Davis and I, we get it. The world is a
But-
horrible place, and the fantasy world needs to reflect that.
But it wouldn't even. It's not even. It wouldn't even be evil. It wouldn't necessarily.
But you wouldn't know.
No,
You would
it
not.
would
You wouldn't know
totally
any
good.
better. Yeah.
Because there's no reason you wouldn't do it.
I know.
There'd be no
Right.
there'd be no
Right.
scarcity.
But
Yeah,
now
you'd
we're
be
taking the
you'd be an
fantasy out of it, right? It's just medieval.
Yeah, and that's why sort of in my setting I have a standard where there's like
You're taking the
only-
fantasy out of it. We have a class of people that create food from nothing. That's
Yeah.
pretty fantastical.
and can heal anything. You
Yeah.
will never die of disease. You will never die of an injury. You will never die of X, Y, and Z. Right? Everyone will live until their natural ripe old age of 90.
It's a
to 100 or
utopia.
something.
It's a utopia.
And then if you're like high ranking or you do services to the faith, they probably cast longevity on you, make you live even
Oh
longer.
God.
Oh yeah.
Did Davis
And
leave a
then-
window open? No, he dresses like that all the time, pretty much.
Yeah, I haven't turned my heater on all year, so
Yeah.
and it was sort of cold this morning. So, and I'm trying to.
You got gloves on. I didn't realize you had gloves on. Christ, you look like you're going out in the
Oh, it's
snow.
32 degrees in the house this morning. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
my
God,
God.
I don't have my space
God,
heater
my
with
wife
me.
would kill me if it got that cold. Wow. I keep it cold, but not that cold. Venom says, this is why casters are extremely rare in my world. It takes someone with absolute faith to be a cleric, chosen by the gods. Wizards require someone with a spark of magic and the willpower for the long hours of study to master it. Now, see, that would be cool. I've not ran a campaign like that with those kind of extremes, kind of like Inzaya. I've always kind of played the middle of the road with all these guys I run with over the years, just because. But I would love to run a group through some dark shit like that, right? Where it's like,
Well, it's not dark.
you know what I mean?
don't see it.
It's not really.
No,
I
it's
shouldn't
not
say
dark.
it's not dark. That's probably the wrong term for it. But
It's
like,
extreme.
there
It's
you go.
efficient.
Extreme. It's extreme. Think about it, because wizards and clerks, they stand out. They're special. They're just not another class, right?
Yeah. In
Sorry, my.
when I was
So-
designing Swords and Chaos, the known world, a lot of people just assume that magic users don't exist or that they're like folk tales, and
Right.
then they meet one and they're like, "Oh my god, this is horrifying. We need to kill that man."
Yeah.
King McGloot says, what I'm hearing is communism works great as long as you have magic. That is great. That is great.
Yeah.
Laramie says, hey, Jeremy, I backed Swords of Chaos. I'm super busy. Sell me on reading it this week. Why should he bother
What do you think
reading
I've been doing this whole day? This whole time?
it? Oh, I see.
You like sword and sorcery? Do you like the siege engine? Check it out.
There you go.
It's got its own setting in there, but it's
It's sitting right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll even put a link in
Gotta-
that doesn't do any good. There it is.
Oh yeah, you got to go to the yeah, I got to fix that. You got to go to the Drive-Thru RPG page to get the.
There's a link on your
I'm
main
out of
page, though,
copies.
right?
No, there's not.
There's not.
No.
So it's not my fault. It's your fault. Oh.
No, let me hold on.
If you'll send me the link later, I'll fix the bot. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
So, I like to promote it. I'm hoping that Steve will buy it from you and we can just sell it because it's a great game.
So I like.
Well,
the
it needs
idea.
some. It needs to be DOGL'd, but
Yeah.
So I like the idea. So you know the 3d6 for attributes creating an average of 11.5. I think is what it is. So what you do is set a bar for any character or any NPC included that even has the potential to level has to have a 15 or better in their
almost like the
Right.
AD&D like superior experience point gaining rule.
Yeah.
Like where
Yeah.
you have a higher.
But you just create a threshold. Now I have like sort of a numerical threshold for 1 in 100.
Does Castles and Crusades not have any thresholds for classes? I thought it did.
What do you mean
I
when
don't
you say
think
so.
thresholds? When you say thresholds,
There's no minimum attribute requirement for a class.
No.
Oh, there is for multi-classing and dual class.
Multi-class.
Oh, I don't know. I don't read those rules. I haven't in 20 years or something.
But I like the idea of minimum thresholds. Or
You do.
You know, yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I don't know. There's something kind of fun about like the imbecile wizard. You know, he's got like an 8 intelligence. He's got 4 spells.
The low IQ with.
No, what? Okay, so what you do? Here's what you do, because you could have it both ways.
Yeah, prime requisite.
Have-
That's right, Savage.
Have an attribute. Have your attributes dictate your level cap. So you could
Yeah.
be a 6 intelligence wizard, but you're only getting to 2nd level, and then you cannot gain any levels past 2nd, no matter what you do. Because it's just beyond. You don't understand it.
That would be a short played character, I feel. Unless you just had a campaign where you didn't level up.
See, here's what you do.
Which is an interesting concept too, as well, by the way.
Yeah. He just no. Then he multi-classes into fighter or something, and he insists. He beats people with his wand, but he's like, no, I'm a wizard.
He beats people with this wand, but no, I'm a wizard. That's some funny shit there. That's funny.
He can only cast levitate. That's the only spell he can do. He can cast a mean levitate, but that's it. He can't get anything else to work.
Can somebody go to Davis's house and cast create heat? He needs to be on board. Evidently, he's not paid his tithing to the church because he's freezing. So clearly,
he chose not to turn on his heater for an entire winter. That's not. We cannot. That's on him.
Here he comes, all bundled up. Oh, he ain't got his gloves on right now, though.
He goes back and forth.
We just talking about your enjoyment of the freezing cold during the winter.
Dude, I like. No, you know what's going to suck about this? This is what's really, really going to suck is that it already hit. So this morning was 32 degrees outside in the pasture, but that's with wind, whatever, and it's humid as crap. So it feels a lot colder than it actually is. But yesterday afternoon, when I was out chainsawing, all right, it was 80 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm looking at these 60-degree temperature changes in a day, and I'm out there virtually freaking naked, chainsawing.
It's an image I didn't want to have this early in the morning, Davis, but it's fine.
Right? Yeah. No.
Chainsaw.
So the thing is, by the time summer hits, when it gets 110 degrees out here, you know, and does it
get that hot? Does it really get that hot down there?
Don't you have a picture of you, Sophie took of you or something with you holding a chainsaw? I was thinking there was.
Yeah, there is somewhere. Oh,
okay, if that's the case, I'm rethinking my plans.
It gets hot.
See, Steven was like, "Oh, it's not that bad." I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess it's not that bad."
Yeah, a lot of people like the
being
heat. They
polite.
enjoy the heat, and it's the thing about. So the heat in the South, and this is for those of you who live in the South and do not like humidity, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't mind hot weather, right? I don't even mind scorchingly hot weather. I do not like the humidity, right? So when the humidity is so high and you're just constantly, I'll be sitting here and I'm just dripping sweat off of my fingers, you know, during the summer. And I'm like, no way in hell. But then you go out to places like Arizona, New Mexico, which I really, really love. You know,
I love Arizona weather.
It's great.
Love it.
It's I'm the same way. I hate humidity. I live in it, but I hate it. When I lived out in Seattle, I didn't have it out there, and I loved it.
As a large man,
yes,
110 with like a 90% humidity. Just I would rather put a bullet in my head.
Yeah, now that's on its worst days. Now, and we went like up here on the farm. I know because I'm an outdoor. I have a barometer and everything like that. And I sort of look at it every day. We went through. I think it was 3 years ago where the temperature with heat index was
Yes,
above
Larry, it's happened.
110 degrees for like 35 days, and I
I
was
would just,
like,
I
and I was like,
couldn't.
it was one of the most excruciating summers I've ever experienced. Now, on average, I think the average temperature's in the upper 90s or mid 90s.
God, that's way too hot.
Yeah,
That's average.
yeah. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
That's like my nightmare.
Yeah,
Steven's lying to me to get me down there.
Oh,
not
I'll
mine.
tell you right now. Listen,
but there
when I
are
went
people-
down there 2
people
years ago,
that live up in the south are used to it. It's
it
like
melted.
my
No, bullshit. I went there thinking, okay, it's gonna be at least like here. It melted my thing in the window that held my phone. It melted it off the windshield. It melted.
Oh,
I was like,
God.
what is this shit? Steve just thought it was hilarious. I'm like, I'm getting the hell out of here. It was hot as shit. It was seriously hot. Like 100 and how hot did you get that day? It was like 101 or something like that. I'm not all about that
No.
shit. You know what I mean?
As far as
Okay.
I'm concerned, triple digit temperatures are fictional. They only exist in tabletop games.
Go to Mexico, you'll
Um,
find out. I
No,
was down there
the
one time.
worst
It was
month
115 degrees.
Yeah, average in Arkansas is 91 degrees in
They
August.
hear me?
it's so hot.
Yeah. And now the highs, I'm going to look up. There's got to be a high chart.
Weather's important anyway, Larry, because it teaches you about world buildings. You got to have weather systems, man.
That's right.
Got to have weather. What's up, Dirty Dwarf? How's it going?
Take a shower, dirty.
Yeah,
dwarf.
you need to go to bed. You've been up all night doing God's work there, taking care of folks. Go to bed. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
Average
Speaking of
highs
weather,
100
What's
Average
that?
high is what?
in between July and August. Average typical when it's a really high year, the average temperature is 100. Average overall is 93 degrees, but in a typical low year, it's 70 degrees in August, July.
What is that average summer temperature?
Yeah, that's the average summer temperature. Now, the extremes of both, the extremes can get really, really, really
Tundra.
bad, as you know, in any case, anywhere.
Okay. So where I live for the summer, June, July, August, average high 71.4 degrees.
You're
Well, you're
kidding
going
me.
to give that up if you go to Arkansas. I'll tell you right now. You can kiss that.
In
goodbye.
July is the hottest month of the year, average high of 77.2.
Oh,
That
hey,
is a
welcome
little
from
too
Germany.
toasty for
That's
me.
2 people from Germany.
Yeah. Yeah, it can get pretty. But people who grew up down here, and you think about it, like my parents, they grew up in southern Arkansas, down in the lowlands, by the rivers, with no air conditioning and no heat. I mean, they had a fireplace for the winter, but they didn't use it that often. But no air conditioning throughout the whole summer. And I saw the house that my dad was raised in, and it was basically a log cabin with an expansion on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a real actual log cabin that was built in the 1800s.
Now I'm stressing out about the weather.
Oh, it'll be fine. Trust me.
No, it won't.
Hey, I left. Listen, I'll tell you what you do. You go to northern Arkansas, and it's like the Smoky Mountains. It's way better than that heat sweltering place that Steve lives. I'm telling you right now. As soon as we got like
No, it's
45
not.
minutes down the road, it was awesome. It was beautiful and nice.
If you live in a holler up in the Ozarks, like them in a holler,
Yeah.
it can be a little bit better as long as there's trees around. It can be like, so for example, on top of the hill here where the house is, it'll be, say on a really bad day, it'll be 90 degrees. But you go down to the valley down by the spring and it'll be like 70 degrees down in the valley by the spring.
Listen, Tyler said this is the same conversation heard at every donut shop.
Yeah, no.
Oh, God. Oh, my
But that's
God.
world building too. But it's why I miss Arizona. Is that like the dry heat I'm fine with. And those places, there are
I loved Arizona. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
there are those magical places in the world too that have low humidity and low, like one of the best places I've been. 82 year round, and the temperature range is plus or minus 10 degrees. On an extreme, it can be 15 or 20 degrees higher or lower. Right? That's the extreme. And
He's
but on
concerned.
general,
He's concerned about this. Look, he's concerned
I
about
am.
it.
Yeah, I'm really worried.
It'll be fine.
I
just
can't. I can't take the heat. I'm a big baby. I can't do
I
it.
love heat. The hell freezing my
Yeah,
ass off.
now see, I'm okay. I'm with Jeremy on this. I have a hard time with the heat. With the
Dude,
Okay,
I
if
have so
it's
much
cold-
arthritis ate up in my back and my legs. Screw the heat and screw
If it's
rain.
cold, I can put on more layer. I can put on 15 sweaters if I need to.
Yes.
You can take clothes
If
off
it's-
too, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can only take
What
so
happens-
much off.
What happens when I'm naked
Okay.
and I'm still dying?
You get
Do I
in a
take off my
pool, or you
skin?
get in a shower, a cool shower, a nice swimming pool, the ocean, a river.
No,
don't
then
get in
because
rivers. They
it's so
kill you.
it's so humid. I'm gonna have mushrooms growing off of me because I'm not gonna dry off for 16
Not
weeks.
that bad. Come on, now. It's better than freezing to death.
But you will notice the population in the South only exploded after the introduction of central air and heat. After, not
Yeah, I
before.
believe it.
Okay.
What am I gonna do? Deglove myself?
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch over. We're gonna do our giveaways. I gotta get some work done today before I get hung. So let me switch over. I got so much to do. This list. Look at my list today. It's not gotten any shorter from yesterday. Not at all.
Is any of the stuff from yesterday on there?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's still stuff because we got all this stuff to do for Gary Con. It's got to get done today. It's got to get done today. It's got to get done today. Anyway,
Oh, we've
let
been
me switch over.
saying that for a while.
All right. Yeah. In fact, you need to get in there into Discord with me because I want to go over this. I checked the.
I gotta go. I got
No.
an interview here.
Oh, do you? Anyway, check the email box in there after the stream last night. We got
Is there a bunch of
flooded.
replies?
Yes, it was good.
Hell yeah!
So let me.
Thank you everybody for being prompt with your emails. My other job, nobody ever checks their emails.
Nobody ever does. Nobody. All right, let's get these out here. All right.
It's like
let me
working with a
close
bunch of Davises.
up. Mr. Man, exclamation point raffle will get you in. Just like Narg showed you right there. There you go. Bang, you're in. Awesome. All right, I'm going to close this out. Oh, did you? Event guides for Gary Con. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. All right, let me close this out right here. Everybody's getting into the last minute. Look at these people. Come on, get in here. Get in there.
Yeah, come on. We're ship
here
the
we go.
parts in 5 minutes or 2 minutes, 1 minute, 0 minutes.
All right, there we go. Closing it out. Boom. All right, let's do that. I'm gonna pull three. I'm gonna pull three.
Quit joining the raffle.
No, it's all good. Let's see. What is it doing here? It's not letting me pick a winner. What is going on? Oh, I hit close winners. Try it again. There we go. Now it worked. All right. Who wins the 30-minute weather conversion with Davis? It is going to be, first up, will be Ultra Magnus George. Why in the hell he joined the raffle, I don't know.
The donut shop.
But
We're just going to call it the donut shop.
What is that donut shop joke? I don't
G-Mark, you got it at the end and got in the raffle. You won, dude. That's cool. For all you winners, you'll go over to our Discord and hit up Obsidian Risk.
Have you ever been to like a local small town coffee shop in the
Savage?
morning
Yeah.
where the older
Oh, they
gentlemen-
just bitch about the weather. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So, congrats, all you winners. I'm gonna draw one more. What the hell? Let's do it.
What a guy.
Boom! All right, DSJ Crossenkamp. I cannot pronounce that name, but you'll go over to our Discord, hit up Obsidian Risk. He'll be in the community members list, or you can tag him, whatever. He'll get you a code. I will tell you the codes are kind of wonky. I've got to get in there and fix them today, so it may be your day 2 for your response. So I get them fixed. What would I recommend you get? I would go there and I would download the free PHP, and then I would grab me, I don't know, get you an adventure or something. You know what I mean? They're PDFs. Most adventures should be $10 or less. So that should get you one, right? Yeah. So, all right.
Get
it's really-
A1.
yeah.
A1
So
or C1.
those
Get
are
A1.
good. Those are really good.
Good
Both
one.
of them are really good. So yeah. The C series and A series. Anyways, we're gonna go do some work. Thank you everybody for coming by. It was a fantastic stream, and wow, I can't wait to do it again next Wednesday. It was a lot of fun.
Next week we're going to talk about like insects.
Okay.
I would talk about insects for 15 hours if you let me.
Sounds exciting, doesn't it? Around Beatles.
Well,
He
you
loves the
love
Beatles.
Arkansas. There's so many insects.
Well, not if they're getting into my house.
All right.
Oh, I did see. I will say this. Wait. I did.
Yeah,
see,
go ahead.
So I was outside yesterday, and there was like this wind blowing through, and it was carrying with it hundreds of baby spiders, like this little puff of baby spiders.
You live in hell.
And at first I didn't recognize it. I thought it was like a puff of seeds or something like that from a cedar cypress thing, because whatever, it just looked blurry.
Right.
Until I stuck my hand into this little puff, and it landed on my hand, and all these little bitty spiders, and I was like, wow, I've never seen that before. Hundreds of little spiders on my hand.
All right, so we'll be back tomorrow evening. Here's our Twitch schedule if you want to follow along from YouTube and Facebook as well. But we're going to be here tomorrow. The group will be talking about, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about tomorrow. We may do some more GFW stuff. I don't know. I'll be back Saturday morning running my adventure. Jeremy will be down there as they turn him the very experienced barbarian with his group of fun folk. And then Sunday, Jingo will be running his KMR adventure. What's that?
Spider Swarm. Jeremy has it covered.
Okay, good enough. There we go. All right, we're going to get out of here. You guys have a wonderful day. We appreciate you so much. All right.